This is the Earthshatter Berserker, and what I'll be league starting in 3.27 Keepers of the Flame. In this video, I'll go over everything you need to know and set you up to have a successful league start. Hello and welcome back everybody. Hopefully you guys are doing well today and hopefully you're looking forward to 3.27 Keepers of the Flame. First thing I want to go over today, just for anyone that may be new to Path of Exile 1 and hasn't played Earthshatter before, or maybe this is your first Path of Exile 1 league and you're considering Earthshatter, want to go over how Earthshatter works. So for anyone that already knows that and wants to skip ahead later on in the video, I'll have timestamps in the description below. So Earthshatter works by slamming the ground. You're going to send out spikes around your character, and then your war cries are going to explode those spikes and exerting your subsequent attacks. The war cries, that is, will be exerting your subsequent attacks, meaning they will deal double damage. That's what exerting means. Your attacks will be exerted, dealing double damage. And you can see there's the number 12 referring to how many of those exerted attacks are left. And so you only have to press 2 war cries now. Gone are the days of having to press all of your war cries when we didn't have auto exertion in the game. So yeah, we're only needing to press Rallying Cry and Enduring Cry. Press Enduring Cry on the boss or at the start of the map, and you can swap to the Red Blade banner and go to max endurance charges right away. Also press it on the bosses to refresh that, and just throughout the map, be constantly pressing Enduring Cry to keep your endurance charges here, top left, topped up to at max. So yeah, like I said, gone are the days of having to press all of your war cries manually. It's been a very strong option and especially a solid league starter for quite some time. And with that being said, it has not received any changes at all in the patch notes. So it is just as good as it was last league, and which is partly why I'll be starting it again this league. For leveling, you're just going to start off with Ground Slam, and then you're going to switch to Sunder at level 12, and you can ride that all the way through the campaign, even further on into maps. But alternatively, if you wanted to try something new, you can give Perforate a try. I've put the links in here. It's relatively the same as Ground Slam. The only difference that's worth mentioning is if you do go Perforate, you have to keep in mind maces won't work with Perforate. You have to use a sword or an axe. And I enjoy Perforate. It's cool, but yeah, you can just stick to Sunder all the way through if you want. Sunder's safe, as most people know. Perforate just gets a little bit of extra functionality with Blood and Sand. Excuse me, that voice crack was horrendous. So yeah, it gets a little bit of extra functionality with Blood and Sand. Feel free to give it a try if you haven't done so before. But yeah, stick to Sunder if you'd like. So this will be the POB that'll be in the description. It's got your links from level 1 into the end game. It's got the tree, same thing, level 1, normal lab, cruel lab into maps and into the end game. And the same thing with the gear. And all I've done is I've imported Ben's suppress gear, and this is not what I'll end up. I'll likely stop here at the end game version. Probably not going to go further than that. My plan is to transition to Molten Strike of the Zenith at some point in time after I've farmed up the required currency for Zenith to feel safe and to feel smooth. But that's the POB. Everything's here for you. It will be in the description below. Otherwise, when it comes to leveling for your bandit choice in Act 2, you're going to help Alira, as you can see right here. Right now it's showing I have slain all the bandit lords. You can go ahead and do that, but reason I say help Alira because usually we struggle with resists early on. Helping Alira gives you plus 15 all resists that you can then just go ahead and go to any vendor later on once you don't need that resist anymore, and you can respec that using 20 Orbs of Regret and 1 Onyx Amulet, and that's going to award you with what you see here, 1 passive skill point. So you can trade that in later on when you don't need that resist anymore. But yeah, you're going to help Illyra early on to start. Also, make sure you're continuously upgrading or trying to upgrade your weapon. You can do so by gambling at any vendor, pretty sure as early as Act 1. You can also go to any vendor and use a blacksmith's whetstone, a weapon of your choice, and either a normal, magic, or rare rustic sash. And depending on the rarity, it'll yield a higher value of percentage physical damage. So as you can see here, we've got a normal two-handed axe, and we've now got a 44% increased physical damage. And then if we swap out the magic rustic sash for a rare, we can get up to 64%. And you can kind of you're obviously not going to be able to change the values of this 50 to 64, but what you can do is kind of use multiple axes to see if you get a higher percent value. And then obviously you could also augment this with an Orb of Augmentation, and then also take it over to the crafting bench to maybe craft on attack speed or whatever you might have available. So this is just another crafting recipe to help you get through the campaign. For our Ascendancy, we choose Berserker, and we go Aspect of Carnage for 40% more damage at the cost of 10% increased damage taken. We take Warbringer for twice as many exerted attacks. We take Crave the Slaughter for additional attack speed equal to the amount of rage we have. And we take Rite of Ruin for 50% increased rage effect. Now you can drop Aspect of Carnage and grab Defy Pain, which is a solid defensive option. Alternatively, you can go with the new Wild Bear Ascendancy node from the Oshabi Bloodline Ascendancy, and give that a try instead of Aspect of Carnage. That seems to be I guess, one of the best, if not the only decent node for Berserker and slams in general. So that's the Ascendancy. For whatever reason, it seems a lot of players don't pay much attention or pay no mind to your flasks. Flasks are huge. Make sure you're upgrading your flask just like I had mentioned about your weapon. 3-to-1 at the vendor, upgrade your flasks, and then especially later on, once you get to maps, you should just be using a sapphire, a topaz, and a ruby flask at all times, pretty much. Until later in the game where you've established your, and you don't maybe need them. But early on, those are a cheat code. They're a cheat code. Don't underestimate the power of flasks. Once you get into maps, you're going to need, at least before you get your mana solved with your minus mana craft rings. We don't know where the minus mana cost craft, the Elrion craft for your rings, is going to come from this league. Um, so until you get that set up and your auto exerted setup or war cries are costing 0 mana, you're going to need an enduring mana flask. So make sure you get yourself one of those so you're not having any mana problems early on. When you're ready to swap to Echoes of Creation, you're going to need a Glorious Vanity by the name of Dorianity, which gives you Corrupted Soul on the passive tree. You're going to need to allocate Divine Shield on the passive tree. You're going to need a minimum of 7% physical damage reduction on your royal plate, and in combination with that, having a high amount of armor on your royal plate. I've got 5,200 here on this. Try to get as high as you can, and just in general, making sure my gloves and my boots aren't by no means the best, but make sure to get a ton of armor, as much armor as you can on the boots, and just to have a high total amount of armor on your character. And that's everything you'll need to know to have a successful league start on the Earthshatter Berserker. Now, I did talk about this earlier on in the video, but my plans is to transition out of this build and transition into a Molten Strike of the Zenith Juggernaut. And so I'll likely stop playing this build after I've reached the end game gear. I likely will not continue to invest in the character into the final form that you see in the POB titled Ben's gear. That's what I would consider the final form of this character. So that's where I'll likely stop before that, and eventually and then start saving and putting my resources towards the transition into Molten Strike of the Zenith. If you're interested in that transition, I'll likely have a video for that when the time comes, so stay tuned for that. But that'll be it for now. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, leave a like and give me a comment, and consider subscribing for more Path of Exile content. I'll see you guys on League Launch.